second.
Only 1% of humans know this symbol. Scout's honor.
Oops. Well,
What the hell's going on? Oh my god. Well, that was crazy for a second there.
hello and welcome to Derp and Friends Reviews, episode 6.
6? Jesus. Anyways,
I'm
I'm
Derp
uh,
Derp.
I'm Skeener. That's derp derp. And then yeah, episode 6 of um, what's the show called again?
Derp Friends
No, the anime. I mean,
Uh,
OT something.
Great Teacher Onizuka,
Oh,
episode 16
GTO.
through
That's good.
21. And our friend Mulcat will not be joining us tonight because he's in a different time zone. And we're showing late
He's a
and
morning
different
person.
day.
He can't stay up past like 9 o'clock.
And he's an hour ahead of us.
Mm-hmm.
And we're also doing this on a different day as well.
Oh yeah, it's Thursday instead of Tuesday, so that's fun. Anyways, so
We start off with episode 16, which was a very Fuyutsuki.
no, episode 21.
No, it's
21.
was it?
Last time was 16 through 20.
No.
I think you were gonna say like last time we. Anyways, last time we did review 16 through 20, and there were some shenanigans in there. So if you want to watch that, you gotta watch the other video, episode 5. Duh. Anyways,
I did watch the right episodes. I just got confused.
yeah, it's all good.
Just like him last week,
Yep,
forgetting a whole single episode.
that's right. Episode 21, or lesson 21, as it shows in the anime. Um, we learned that a lot of the boys in class are like coming up to Fuyutsuki and being like, "Oh, hey, you're so cool, awesome. Can I go to your house and study?" Because I'm pretty sure they're doing that because Onizuka got to stay at her house for a week and study previously. But
And they probably think some shenanigans happened, not studying.
yeah, exactly.
As
Um,
high school or middle school students would imagine.
yeah, exactly. And so a lot of the girls are jealous of her, and
Because of all the attention.
yep, all the attention, and they kind of like don't like her, and so when she's in the bathroom, all the girls gang up on her. They lock the door and they're like, "Oh, we don't like you," blah blah blah, and they throw water on her, like the bitches they are.
Which nowadays and in America, that would probably be grounds for detention. Doing that to a teacher,
Minimally, yeah, or like expulsion. They would, well, not expulsion, like suspension.
suspension.
Yeah. But of course, she didn't know who who it was. Anyways, um, after they throw water on her, they decide to boycott the class, and like literally none of them are in the class. So all the boys are like, "Oh, hey, maybe we can play some games or something like that." And she's like, kind of traumatized by this, and she basically runs away, and then Onizuka and his gang of children. Um,
Mirai, Kikuchi, and Mirai's friends.
yep. And even that 200 IQ girl is there to help out a little bit.
Yurumi.
Yurumi. Anyways, so he kind of says to her like, "Hey, if you can't handle this, maybe you should just quit teaching." And then she disappears the next day, and he's like, "Oh my God, she's gonna commit suicide." So of course they break into her apartment, and then the first thing Onizuka does is look in her panty drawer. Because that's where all the clues are. And he's just like really worried, and the other kids are worried about her because they don't want, they fear the worst, basically.
Also, if you're gonna run away, shouldn't you make sure you leave, run away for a long time? Make sure you bring a lot of underwear, because you can change regular clothes, re-wear regular clothes.
Yeah. But then they looked through her mail and discovered she was getting letters from like this little
An
girl.
old student of hers.
Yeah, this I guess she's not young anymore, but she was having she hadn't heard from her in a while, and she were used to work at this bed and breakfast where she worked and where she fell in love with teaching. So she goes there, and then of course the kid gang leaves, and then oh no, the girl is the F cup girl, Nomura. She
Yep.
joins in because she's not boycotting the class because she's now famous.
Also, she isn't. This isn't Onizuka's class. It's Fuyutsuki's class. Two different classes.
Oh, oh right, my bad.
Because Nomura is a part of Onizuka's class.
Oh, got it. Well, anyways, Nomura still joins them just because, and she wants to. Her reason for going back there. She wants to refine her motivation for being a teacher, and so she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to this place," and she kind of arrives, and the the owner's daughter
Himiko.
is Himiko is not happy to see her. Doesn't Finds out she doesn't like teachers. She's like, "Oh, get away from me!" Blah blah blah. And now she's even more confused, and so she talks to the owner, and he's like, "Oh yeah, something happened with the teacher," and find out that the
Teacher that Himiko really liked disappeared or
she
betrayed her.
she betrayed her by having an affair with another faculty member, and Onizuka's like, "What do you mean? She was just in love. It's no big deal," and she gets upset and stuff like that. And yeah, because of adultery. And so we learn all that, and then we also learn that the school that was used to teach at was going to be demolished from this movie company. They were filming a movie there, and at the end of it, they were going to blow it up. And so that was pretty much episode 21, that whole backstory. Episode 22 is where it gets more fun because then you actually get to see the people shooting the movie. It's about some detective in a hotel or detective school, something. I can't remember what it's called, but it doesn't really matter. Because Fuyutsuki then has a heart to heart with Himiko, and they get into like I don't remember the exact details of like this the teacher made a mistake basically, and it's just like one mistake, but that doesn't mean the memories of that person have to be forgotten as well. Those are happy memories that you had, and she made this one mistake, and don't be upset about it. And then, of course, Onizuka comes on a boat, and he's like, "Ha ha ha! You shouldn't fear. You shouldn't let up. It's just one mistake. Ha ha ha!" And then, of course, the kids, the gang of kids, do something to the boat and starts sinking, and he starts to drown, and everybody's like laughing at him. He's like, "Why are you laughing at me?" And then this little girl, Himiko, she's like laughing again. She's like, "Oh yeah, you reminded me of the good times, and I should focus on like the good memories and stuff." And so, of course, at that moment, these film guys are about to blow it up. It's set to a timer, and they can't stop the timer. So she runs into the school, and there was this organ, or I think it was a piano.
No, it was Oregon.
It was an organ?
Yeah.
Well, I know they said organ, but it definitely looked like a piano. But who cares? It's an organ, and she's running in there, and then Onizuka's like, crap, there's only like, you have to stop this bomb, and then they find out that they can't. And so of course, he runs in there, he finds a motorcycle, and he goes in there, and he sees her, and he's like, hey, you need to get the heck out of here, it's gonna explode. She's like, no, I have to move this. So of course he tries to help, and he can't really move it very well, and then things about to explode, and then he's just like, oh, super strength time, here's my adrenaline, and he grabs onto her and throws out the organ because he's super strong. He's Onizuka, he can lift 1,000,000 pounds, and
he does crush cars just by stepping on them.
that's true. But only when he's preventing suicide. Other than that, he doesn't.
And only if it's Cresta.
Yeah, those stupid Crestas. And so he throws the organ out as the building explodes, and everybody thinks they're dead, of course, but that they're not. And then turns out there's an organ key, and he's like, "Oh, here's an organ key. You can keep that as a keepsake." And she's like, "Oh, thank you. Wow." And so that was the end of that. So that was kind of like a backstory to Fuyutsuki and how she wanted to teach. So that was episode 22. Episode 23 was even better because that was a chain letter episode. And of course, Onizuka gets all these, or Fuyutsuki gets a love letter in her inbox, and then Onizuka, there's some mailman or whatever, he gives Onizuka a box of letters. He's like, oh, look at all the love letters I got. They weren't love letters. They were all chain letters. And he's just like, and Mirai gets a chain letter. He's just like, oh my god, I gotta answer it. If I don't, something bad will happen to me. And he's like, it's cursed and stuff like that. And the 200 IQ girl, what was her name again? Yurumi. She's just like, I don't believe in that. And that's all just superstition and stuff like that. And so she's like talking to Mirai, oh, you don't believe in that stuff. And then Onizuka comes up, he's like, this is what I think about your chain letter. He rips it up and takes a match, lights all his chain letters on fire. And of course, Yurumi plays mental tricks on him and says, "Oh, well, I think you're going to be cursed now, ha ha ha," and then starts things, little things start happening to Onizuka, and he starts believing that he's cursed, um, and so he goes back to class and he's just like, "Oh my God, I'm cursed," and he has all these like good luck things on him that he wears, and he gets burned by that fire, and it shows like the symbol for death on his backside, burned into his body, so he thinks he's gonna die. Um, and
By the way, he looks at it while looking into a mirror. That comes into play in a little bit.
oh yeah, so it's in the mirror, it's death, but otherwise
It
it's not.
upside down. It's not death.
Yeah. So, but now he's totally convinced he's cursed. Comes into class with all this stuff on, and then of course, Yurumi is like, "That's not enough. You need more." And he's like, "I need more," to revert the curse.
So
And
then he gets naked and
no,
puts.
no, no. She brings him to the shaman. This ugly woman. She brings him to the shaman, and he comes back and he's all like limp and stuff like that. Or maybe it was naked. It was naked first. He gets naked and he has all this like good luck on him, and then she brings him to the shaman, and then he comes back to class and he's all like stone faced and white, and he's he's just super depressed and stuff like that. And then one of the kids comes back, one of his students comes back and says, "Here, you look sick, so I brought you all these pills." And so he starts taking all these pills for his high blood pressure because it's super high. And they're like, "Onizuka, that's too many." He like gobbles a couple bottles worth of pills. So he gets sent off to um, the hospital, and you hear some doctors talking. They're like, "Oh, this guy's a teacher. Oh, look at all these different things. Oh, he has cancer." So he has all these like on his X-ray. He has these like dots and stuff like that. They're like, "I've never seen it so bad. He only has a month to live." And then Fuyutsuki comes back to him. He's like, "Oh man, isn't life wonderful? Isn't life so like finite and stuff like that?" And he tells her that he has cancer, and then in the class the next day, Onizuka's gone, and then Fuyutsuki comes and tells some of the kids, "Oh, where's Onizuka?" And she's like, "I don't know." And well, he did say he has cancer, and of course, Miyabi, the
Queen
fucking
bitch.
queen bitch, she's just like, "Haha, he has cancer. Isn't this great, everyone? I'm glad he's gonna die. Now that takes care of all our troubles." And everybody's looking at her like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" And then there's this whole thing of like Onizuka's partying with he goes to like some strip club or whatever, and he's partying. He's just like, "Hey, this party is for me, yay!" And then he sees Fuyutsuki. She catches him, and he's like, "Oh man, I'm gonna die. I don't want to die a virgin," and blah blah blah. And they're about to kiss, and then the kids, um, uh, who's the Kikuchi, the hacker guy, he hacks into the medical records, and he finds out that some of the things he had like magnets on him, and that was
It was
what was
the
making the
detectors that they put on you to detect stuff like that, like for the
yeah. Well, it
machines.
was I think they put on like magnetic stuff when he was like dressed after. I think it was after he was naked, and of course he scared Fuyutsuki away. That was funny. Um, that was one of the things to ward off evil spirits. Was these magnetic things, and he just happened to have them on him, and they took a front view of the X-ray. So otherwise they would have caught it, but they didn't because well they're dumb, I guess. Anyways, so it turns out he doesn't have cancer, and Fuyutsuki slaps Onizuka, and he totally deserves it. And he's like, I don't have cancer? No, you don't." So that was just a short episode about him having cancer and getting cursed. Um, so episode
And
20.
also, he at one point he also even sent chain letters to everybody.
Oh yeah, he was sending the chain letter thing. Like, he was just like, "How did I get all these chain letters?" And it's uh, Nomura, the F cup girl. She keeps getting fan letters, and some of them are chain letters. She's like, "Huh? Well, I suppose I gotta send these chain letters out, but the only people I know are the people at school and Onizuka."
Which he is at schools.
Yeah. Um, and then, anyways, episode 24 was, I wrote it down as the vice principal adventure. So this is his own like interaction with Onizuka, and bad things happen to him, at least in his view. Um, he
Which,
basically,
for once, he does not get a new Cresta.
yeah, I thought it was all gonna be about a Cresta, but he was like, I was born in 1946. I'm a baby boomer. I went to school to learn about teaching, and now I'm a vice principal. I just and he sees Onizuka in his class like repainting the side wall, and it's a raunchy picture of a woman on a missile or something like that. Um, and he gets paint spilled on him, and so of course he goes to wash it off. He's in the men's room, and these two girls walk in, and he's naked in there, drying off, and they think he's a creep, and so the actual creepy PE teacher, he's like, "Girls' voices on high scream. I must go help."
Fukuroda.
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 Fukuroda. Fuck that guy. Anyways, he comes. He's like, so he basically pounds the vice principal because he's not wearing any clothes, and he gets, he's just like, "I can't believe this happened to me." It's, he gets beat up by this guy, and these two girls on the train think that he's creepy, and he's just like, "Oh my god, I'm having a horrible day. You know what I should do? I should order some, what's that, sakiyaki? What's that dish?
Takoyaki?
Takiyaki? I don't know.
Or sukiyaki.
Sukiyaki, yeah, that's it. That sounds right. Sukiyaki, and his dream is like, "I'm gonna bring this home, and my wife and my daughter are gonna be super happy that I brought this home. They're gonna be like, wow, we're gonna have a great night tonight." And he comes home, and of course Onizuka is there for whatever reason, and I think he was there to
Something to do with his daughter.
yeah, he was there because he had to deliver papers to him because, of course, he had to leave school early, so so he couldn't do it. And then he gets invited. Onizuka gets invited to dinner, and the vice principal, he's not happy about this. He's just like, "No, you're ruining my night. This is a horrible thing. I got all this stress, blah blah blah." And then they start talking, and oh yeah, the mom's like, "Oh, you had one of your students go to an agency, and she's famous now." And the daughter's just like, "Oh, I want to get tickets to shows and stuff like that." And then they're like, "Oh, maybe you can tutor my daughter." And then the vice principal's like, "No, no, 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 no. This isn't good." And then he's like, he's listening to Onizuka and his daughter through the door, and he hears the word, "Oh, penis. Oh, stop biting there." And they're like playing with the dog. And he like comes in with his golf. He's like, Onizuka's like, "Oh, are you gonna play golf today or something?" Like, he's like, "No, I heard a noise. Blah blah blah. Get away from my daughter, you dick." And the next day at school, a fellow teacher says he saw Onizuka with a girl in in a school uniform, and he's just like, "Oh, excellent! This is how he's gonna get fired." And so they bring up the picture,
And it's his daughter.
yeah, it's his daughter. He's just all the blood runs away from his face. He's like, "We must stop this immediately. We must stop this. He must be fired." And so he goes out and he's trying to find her on the town because they're in the hotel district, and that's where the picture was taken, around the hotel district. And so he thinks Onizuka is having his way with her, and so he sees them for a second, and he goes into this like costume like dance party thing, and he's just like,
Masquerade.
yeah, and he's just like, ape, I must find the ape, I must find the monkey, and the guy's like, okay, and he gives him an ape costume, and he's like, no, no, where's my daughter? And so he just runs out, and he's in his ape costume, and the police start chasing after him. They start shooting him, and he's just like, no, I must find my daughter. He's like inner monologuing. He's like, I must get redemption. You got, and all the police officers are coming after him, and he's just like runs. He just starts running into them. He's like, I don't care anymore. I'm gonna find my daughter. I have motivation. Blah blah blah. And then for I don't know how, but he escapes, and then now he's naked, like walking the streets, and he realizes he's naked, and he gets these flashes of oh no, the vice principal is a pervert. He's streaking across the city, and he has a vision of his daughter and wife like hating him. They're like, you need to kill yourself. This is horrible. And then who does he see?
Onizuka.
He sees Onizuka, and he's just like, "The hell are you doing here?" He's just like, "What?" And then his like daughter walks out of this show or whatever, and he hides the principal. And it was raining before, so he had this raincoat on, and so he basically gives the vice principal his raincoat and protects him from seeing his daughter. And
No, from his daughter seeing him.
from his daughter seeing him. And then the next day, he's like begging the principal not to have a meeting to fire Onizuka, and he's like crying. He's like crying because he like realizes that Onizuka saved his ass. Though he still hates him. He still hates him. We're just not as.
It only took 22 episodes to start getting him on Onizuka's side.
Well, I mean, all the stuff he did to his Cresta, I mean, he has to not like him.
At this point, Onizuka just needs to buy him a Cresta.
That'll
A bulletproof Cresta.
Yeah, gets no damage. Anyways, so that was in episode 24.
Or a Cresta with a team of bodyguards to protect it 24/7.
Yeah, and forever insurance on it with unlimited credit. So that was episode 24. 25, we get introduced to a
A new
character.
teacher.
Her name is Now or Now.
Now, I believe I didn't have it in
N-A-O.
I didn't have it subtitles, so I just assumed by now it was spelled N-A-O.
Yeah, you're right. And the super like sexy nurse character enters the scene, and Onizuka and all the boys are just like I think they're looking at like pornos or something like that. And
Totally normal to do with
I don't
middle-aged students.
know if they had this in the English version, but the Japanese version, they're like, man, that 16-year-old looks good, and I'm like, what? And she's like in a magazine, like, bruh, what the fuck? And all the kids are like, teacher, I don't think you should be looking at this with us. And he's just like, oh, whatever, I don't care.
And once again, for clarification, just to kind of get both sides and also our preferences, he watches it subbed, I watch it dubbed, so we can get both sides of the.
That's right. We both know it's better subbed, but he took
The bullet.
the bullet, yeah.
Especially with the older stuff where there's so many differences in the translation. you get two different sides of the coin
Yeah,
with
exactly.
the older anime. Newer stuff is much better translated.
Oh yeah. Oh, in this episode, we also get blackface. So if you want to watch it, feel free. But there's, anyways, we'll get
Don't
there. We'll get there when we get
don't get mad at blackface.
there. I think they say it's their makeup. They're trying to look. They're trying to be darker.
But this isn't the only anime in this time frame that had blackface. I can't remember any specifics. I know that that was very common in like '90s anime.
Yeah, like in the Jazz Singer when they have blackface. You know, we all know that classic from 1927. Anyways, um, so this new nurse comes in. She's like, "Hey, I'm the new nurse. Hey, I want to try sexy. Look at me. Blah blah blah." Um, and she turns out she's a new nurse, and she needs to be um, introduced to other faculty, and like all the guys are just like have their jaws to the floor, looking at her, um, and um, then Onizuka, of course, he tries to fake having a being sick, just so he can see her in the infirmary, and he opens the door and he realizes like all the other boys are in there. And he's like, "Hey, what are you guys do? What are you guys trying to do? Faking sickness too?" And they're like, "What do you mean, TOO?" And he's like, he's like, "Oh, I mean, no, I wasn't faking injuries. I was here for a serious reason, kind of thing." And then, of course, immediately the girls, all the girls, do not like this because she's taking up all the attention of everyone. And we get introduced to the quote unquote, they're called the Black Stars, or these girls that are wearing a crap ton of makeup to make them look like they have
Blackface.
brown, yeah, like blackface, like they have brownish skin. Um, and one of them is just like, "Oh, hey, new nurse," and she's gonna push her over, but the nurse, you can get a sense that she sensed this or whatever, and so she does a quick turn and catches the girl. Go, "Oh, hey, look, I got a new what's it called, makeup that would really be really good with your skin. Come to the infirmary and I'll tell you all about it." And so these girls get introduced to this new stuff, and they leave feeling satisfied, and it cuts to a bunch of the boys like bringing in boxes, and the boys are like, she's selling makeup to these girls, and she's selling like vitamins and stuff to the boys or whatever to make extra money. Um, and so that's kind of Fuyutsuki kind of does an investigation. She hears that she's selling stuff to students and she doesn't like it, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm just giving them kind of what they want, and hey, they're not complaining about it. Whatever, it is what it is." And then there's a scene where um, Onizuka's drunk and Fuyutsuki's there, and she sees her outside of a club, and she goes and questions her about that as well, and she's just like, "This, like, why are you doing this? This doesn't make any sense. Why you're being a teacher and working at a club?" And she's like, "Oh, I just need money and stuff like that. I just need extra money. That's why I'm selling all this extra stuff." And she goes to talk to Onizuka about it, and turns out that he has also bought a crap ton of stuff too. And she's like, "Oh, why are you buying all this stuff?" And so she gets really really mad, and she's like, "You need to stop this right now. Like, this is not good." And so who did she make the bet with? Oh, she made a bet like, I bet you that I can get, if these Murai and his two friends get in the top 50, um, or if any, I think it was if any one of them got on the top 50, then the bet was like 100,000 yen. So the winner would get 100,000 yen, basically. And so she doesn't take the bet, but Onizuka says he'll pay for it. It's easy money. There's no way they can get really high scores. And so she brings in the boys, the nurse does, and she's like, she takes them all by the hand. It's like, hey, if you get in the top 50, you can go on a date with me. And she brings their hands to her chest area, and they're all like, oh my god, and they start like studying like crazy. So then it cuts to them taking the test and stuff like that, and them having improved scores. Fuyutsuki's like, oh my god, they got improved scores, and Onizuka's like, what? I lost the money, and turns out that they did improve their scores, but none of them were in the top 50. And so Onizuka's like, haha, thank God, I knew they couldn't do it. That money is mine, because he kind of lost a lot of his money buying all the stuff from the nurse now. And then this, at the end of the episode, it all goes back to they're all in the infirmary, like, oh, here's your money, you won fair and square. And so Fuyutsuki, of course, asks, what did you do to motivate them? Oh, she's like, oh, I just told them I'd go on a date with them. And she's like, what? That's not befitting of a teacher. Of course you weren't going to go on a date with them. Like, of course you were lying. And she's like, oh, no, I wasn't lying. Of course I was going to go on a date with them. Like, just playing with them. She's like, I'm just, giving them what they want. This is what, sexualization, this is what men do. This is like her philosophy, her viewpoint on how the world works. And of course Onizuka's like, he's like, you know what? Here, take the money back. No, we're gonna do a new bet, and they're gonna get into the top 50 in their own way. And then immediately as he does that, he's like, why did I give up that money? Could have bought so many things. It was 100,000 yen. And Onizuka's friend, who was there when Onizuka was drunk, he's like, I've seen her somewhere before. And he finally remembers, and he calls Onizuka, and he says, oh yeah, this woman was she was a really good like street driver, and she would win all the time. She gained a lot of reputation doing that, and then one day she lost, and then she got into a car accident, and she couldn't drive again. She was known as the Queen of Hakosuna. I think I said that right. And then that's like the end of the episode where we learn that this was her past, and we don't know what's gonna happen. So, yeah. So I'm interested to figure out what's gonna happen with now, and her story kind of thing. But I also like the Fuyutsuki's backstory. That was kind of cool to watch, and just to have a fun episode in the middle with the curse.
It's some of the best animes are like not necessarily filler, but like very serious episodes in between, like arcs of serious, having like a light-hearted episode.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorites, The Gray Man, did that. That's the one I can think of off the top of my head. Which is one eventually I'll get you to watch. It's one of my favorites.
Gray Man.
D. Gray Man.
D. Gray Man. D. Gray Man.
It's one I watched alongside Gintama back in high school.
What's Gintama?
It's literally my mouse pad.
Oh. Okay. That's why I heard it. Yeah.
That's why I was pointing.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that. Anyway, so yeah.
This has been Derp and Friends Reviews, episode 6.
Yeah, I'm Ski Nerd, that's Derp, and episode 6 is in the book.
Next week should be back to Tuesday for episodes 26 through 30,
Mm-hmm.
as well as starting next Thursday or Friday. We haven't decided yet. We'll be reviewing The Boys season 4,
Yep.
starting with the first 3 episodes next week. We'll
It'll be
have
fun.
4 episodes next week.
4?
Because the 5 episodes of GTO, and then,
Yeah, that's
but it'll be, no, that one recording,
Oh.
4 recordings.
Oh, that's what you mean. It's like,
Because then with The Boys, we'll watch an episode, review it, watch another, review it, then watch the third and review it.
oh, okay.
Just so we aren't doing a 3-hour recording.
Yeah, that would suck. I won't remember a thing. Not at all.
I figured that'd be the easiest to do it when we have 3 hour-long episodes.
Yeah, so those hour-long episodes are a little tougher. Yeah, like, subscribe.
And
Or
give
else.
us any suggestions. We've been shooting around ideas. Tokyo Revengers. Gurren Lagann. Because we need to pierce the heaven with our
I
drills.
literally don't know any of these anime. I don't even know if they're good.
Tokyo Revengers is literally right behind you.
They're probably horrible animes that we're just gonna review. Nobody's
The
ever
Gray
heard
Man. Eventually I'm gonna get you to watch Gintama.
We're gonna do Dresden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eventually Gintama, but we need to ease you into it.
Okay.
Because this was over 200 episodes.
Oh God, fucking Christ.
But the glory of Gintama, you don't need to watch every single episode. Because most of it is literally what a lot of anime fans think of as filler. But it's not, it's all canon. Because it's all in the manga.
Oh. Then why do you not need to watch every episode?
Because a lot of it is irrelevant to like the main story. But it's all still in the manga.
Oh, okay.
Like every 50 episodes, there's like really good action arcs that have to do with the main story. Like maybe every 25 to 50 episodes. But other than that, there's like little side arcs that happen. Like there's literally one episode where they parody the Hangover.
Oh, wow. Alright, anyways, we should probably end the episode. Okay.
See everybody next
Bye.
week. I should start remembering to do that first before ending.
I'm trying to think of something funny to say, but I can't think of anything because I know you're still recording. Anyways, I was talking to my doctor